There are millions of users on Scratch. Most of them make games, animations, or music, but some of them don't fit that mold. Some of them seem to break the laws of Scratch itself. Let's get into episode 2 of Unsolved Scratch Mysteries.
Scratch Game just banned me for no reason.
If you couldn't read that fast enough, it said One Night at Puppy's Crabjack Fan Edition had been taken down.
This is now the oldest known FNAF fan game, not only on Scratch, but in FNAF history in general.
Engaging on such a different level, which really encourages this kind of mindset of seeing yourself and each other as makers of things and not just consumers.
There is a storm coming.
Well, it's pretty simple, but you're not going to like it. Leave Scratch. Yes, quitting Scratch is the most logical solution.
Welcome to X_0. This is not my real sound, by the way. I'm a glitch or error. I share unusual things. People have been following me for some reasons, but I guess that's okay.
For this episode, we'll look at the strangest user in all of Scratch, X_0. This user joined Scratch 3 years ago and has amassed over 7,500 followers, making them the 100th most followed Scratch user on the entire platform. X_0 is by far the most known strange Scratch user on the site. They are only following one person, themselves. Now, this shouldn't be possible to do on Scratch, but I looked into it and it's actually possible to do via an exploit that existed on the site for a long time. This user has a total of 14 projects and currently has not posted for over a year. Each project has an animated thumbnail. Animated thumbnails are not hacked, they're fairly easy to do. I even have a tutorial on how to make them. Each of the projects is a form of a GIF and it's all connected on the person's profile. All of these projects except for 7 are blank screens. Most of these projects are extremely random with no outside meaning. The first project that actually has something to do is an old TV screen that states this account shows unusual things, and that people have been following for some reason. After stating that, the project proceeds to show where your mouse is on the screen. You also can't pause the project. The project says it's also recording your voice. Now, this may seem very creepy at first, but all of these things are possible to do with Scratch, no hacks required. The next project recently has broken with Scratch 3.0. People were able to press keys on the keyboard such as Tab and Escape. Now, Scratch does not allow this to happen, which explains why it broke. Nonetheless, this was done with a Scratch extension that broke with the introduction of 3.0 made by World Languages. So far, this user's projects are nothing to be worried about. The next set of projects are generators that allow you to type in Zalgo text, which is basically broken forms of text. X_0 is obviously very skilled at scripting because of the complexity needed to do this is very high. In one of the most recent projects, they said they were inspired by Kaj, K-A-J. This is where things started to get interesting. Kaj was deemed the boogeyman of Scratch. Kaj was a user that joined Scratch in 2008, and after some unsuccessful projects began getting greedy and wanting more views. Kaj created a project threatening to destroy Scratch, and then Kaj broke the community guidelines many times after, resulting in a permanent ban. Some users reported their accounts getting hacked by Kaj after the ban, saying their accounts turned into copies of Kaj's. This is still unproven. After this, Kaj became sort of like Herobrine for Minecraft. No one really knows what happened. A Scratch moderator by the name of Paddle2C said they received an email from Kaj explaining that he was shocked that his account got this much fame. That was the end of the story. For X_0 to say they were inspired by Kaj might mean it's a copycat account. Now, something interesting to point out is that X_0's account is labeled as a new Scratcher despite over being 3 years old. This so far is unknown on how to do this. Now, if you look at the studios that X_0 is a part of, they are part of an unnamed studio that has the description of there was a crooked man and he walked a crooked mile, he found a crooked sixpence and crooked a style, he bought a crooked cat which caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a little crooked house. This poem is actually from the movie Insidious 2, so there's a little more proof that this user is also just a copycat account of Kaj. All the other studios are completely empty except for one. This studio features some of X_0's projects and also features a link within the studio. If the link is typed in, the URL simply times out. Now here's the part that's interesting. That link in the studio actually does something. Although the link itself is dead, it's the same link as X_0's featured project ID. If you type it in Turbo Warp, which allows people to view unshared projects, you get a very disturbing animation. Watch for yourself.
Ooh, am I happy to see you, Harry the Handsome Butcher.
What can I do for you?
I'd like to try the most wonderful, perfect cut of meat you have.
Coming right up! So, wanna go out sometime? Harry the Handsome Butcher!
When you go to the activity in that studio, something also very interesting shows up. The activity states that on March 1st, 2021, after X_0 has been long gone, that this user named Popsicle removed themselves. This message then repeats for thousands of lines. This user is never presented in the studio, and X_0 is the only other user who is the manager of the studio. There's no other creators either. Now, this user named Popsicle looks very normal. Let's pause here for a second. In this segment, I'm going to try and find out the identity of X_0. Okay, let's continue. The account Popsicle is also following themselves, which is the same as the X_0 account. This user and X_0 both understand how to follow themselves and are definitely associated with each other, and have some so-called hacking abilities. This points to the conclusion that X_0 true identity might be Popsicle. After this, I found unsatisfied by this conclusion, so I looked further. I looked at Popsicle and who they were following. They were following a set of users that have similar logos. These users also have similar descriptions of themselves and credit each other in the description. Guess what? They also know each other. They also know how to follow themselves and create future projects that don't exist, like the X_0 account. I began looking further into the studio history, and noticed that each one of these users had edited a studio by X_0 before. I then looked to see if these people were part of a public group. They were all part of a studio called Designer Hub. The leader of this group has since been suspiciously banned, but with the power of a site called Scratch Stats, I was able to access the user's old projects. The account's name is Diaros. This account had a project called Gallery UI version 2. This project featured the same character that was on X_0's profile picture. It also has the same GIF from X_0's page. This project was shared. This account was even made before X_0 was created. Needless to say, once this account was banned, a new account popped up called Final. This account was said to have lived in the same area as Diaros, the Cook Islands. This account proceeded to re-upload all the projects from the old account. According to some scratchers, they found a part where Diaros commented and said they were X_0. This thread has since been deleted. That is also confirmed by one of the users who was part of the art group, who said in a comment that someone part of the group said they were X_0. As of now, the project called Gallery UI version 2 has been deleted after the accusation that Dairos was X_0, but screenshots still exist. So in conclusion, X_0 is Dairos, who is now final. But where did Dairos get all these so-called hacks? Well, the only account Dairos was following was called World Languages. This account is one of the main creators of animated thumbnails and the Turbo War project, so they got all their knowledge from them. Some of the scripts in X_0's projects are also from World Languages. Lastly, we get to the motivation. Why would someone like this want to do this? I said earlier X_0 said they were inspired by Cash, the original Scratch hacker. So basically they were inspired by Cash to do this, and that's it. The mystery of the weirdest Scratcher X_0 has been solved. Until next time, this is Unknown Scratch Mysteries.